Y'all, we're gonna try a little something different tonight. It's called chili corn dog pie. It's out of old cookbook I had, and I'm reworking a little bit to make it more porch friendly than what it is. I like chili. I love hot dogs, favorite food, and I love corn dogs. So when I saw it, I'm like, okay, the 3-year-old in me wanted to make it. So the recipe calls for 2 cans of chili. I just made a pot of my personal chili that I like. It's porch friendly, plus it's bulkier than, sometimes that stuff you get in the can. Well, it depends on what kind you get. But now the way I figured it, it says 2 cans. Depending on the size can, it could be any amount. When I think of a canned food, I just think roughly 2 cups. It's not always, but in my mind, I go straight to 2 cups. It's not really failed me so far. If I try to substitute here or there, I just go ahead and measure out 2 cups or something. So my chili recipe makes roughly 4 cups. So I'm counting this as 2 cans, even though you can tell that's a whole lot more than 2 cans. But it's so low in points that it doesn't really matter. The dish is going to make 6 servings, and they do come out to 7 points a serving. But I think once we get it together, it's going to be a pretty good size. So we'll get started by the first thing. We want to absolutely spray. Now, I think I did a meal prep with my chili one time. If you are interested in making it like me, I'll link it. But I think I said in that video, everybody has their own chili. Everybody has their own taste. So if you want to make it with 2 cans, then do that. Or if you just want to make your own version of chili, and it makes this much. Can you can you tell how much that makes? That's how much it makes. So anyway, we're just going to dump it in our dish. See, that is a whole lot more than 2 cans, but that's going to be a substantial amount of food. So the next thing, I need to move this so I can't set it on that hot burner. Let me set this over here. Well, you know what? I'm coming back. Excuse me. The next thing, I was about to say the next thing and then forget to do the next thing, is putting on our hot dogs. Oh, I'm using the Hero National 97% fat-free. These are 1 point a piece. And I think I have fussed about this before. They have knocked them down to 6 per pack. I can't believe that. Used to get 8 hot dogs. 6 little old hot dogs. But they're a point a piece, so we'll use them. Because I tell you, I said a while ago, hot dogs is my favorite food. And I would love a real good hot dog, but they're so high in points, you really can't. Now the recipe says to cut these half horizontally and like lay them in here. So I'm trying to decide how I want to do this so that we can delineate where is a serving. This is going to make 6. So I think I want to just like put, you see what I'm saying? So we can like evenly do, and then everybody gets their own hot dog. Now if you wanted to, you could probably fry these hot dogs first, but I'm hoping they'll be all right. Okay, now the next thing, let me wipe my hands off, hold on. Okay, now I am going to set this over there. I forgot to get my bowl. The next thing is making the cornbread that goes on top. It calls for a cup of cornmeal mix. But I just thought for that size dish, 1 cup really wasn't going to be much. If I moved it to 2 cups, it took the points to 8 per serving. If I leave it at 1.5 cups, I can get by with 7. I don't know why 8 just sounds a whole lot worse than 7. I probably should just go ahead and do the whole 2 cups. Honestly, because what's 1 more point? Okay, you talked me into it, I'm going to. So we're going to use 2 cups, and I'm just using Martha White self-rising corn. I thought that was cornmeal mix. Y'all got to hold on and let me get my flour and mix this up. I'll be right back. Okay. I'm glad I read that before I started mixing this up, because it would not have gone too well. Now, I have only made my own self-rising cornmeal mix, putting in my own baking powder and salt, but I have self-rising cornmeal. So I'm going to use self-rising flour and then just add a little extra baking powder just to kind of boost it in case there's not enough between the two of them. But let me get that out of there. So each, I have a knife in there. For each 3/4 of a cup. Now if this don't work, it just don't work. You know what? I always tell my husband, if it ain't good, guess what? He'll say, we're going to eat it anyway. I say, yep, you got it. So he's good about it. He don't complain. I complain more about my cooking than he does. Because if I don't think it's just right, I don't like it. So 1.5 cups. So per 3/4, we're going to use, I do have my knife in there, but 3 tablespoons per each 3/4 of a cup to equal 2 cups. And this is my self-rising flour I keep in the freezer right there. Then I'm going to add, just for good measure, because like I say, I don't know how this is going to work, being that they're already self-rising. We'll see, won't we? Okay, so we mix this together, and the recipe calls for the cornmeal mix, oil, and milk. In baking, you can substitute applesauce for the oil, but I didn't want to do it in cornbread, so I got out 1 egg. That was before I decided to change, so hold tight, let me grab another one. Okay, I got another. Since I was just going to do the 1.5 cups, that would have been plenty, I believe. So then just kind of scramble that egg up in there a little bit. And then I have 3/4 of a cup of milk. And that's how much I was going to use, again, with the 1.5 cups. So when I get this mixed up, I'll be able to tell from the consistency if it needs more milk or not. Okay, see that is a good cornbread texture right there. So let's pull this back over. Now this, I tell you, I'm doubling it. So you can see once we get on here, I can talk and scrape at the same time, but I don't think 1 cup's worth would have been quite enough on here. Do y'all? Man, I'm having not much of luck getting it completely covered right now. I think maybe I poured too much on that side. I think we'll be able to see. It's going to puff up, so I think it'll be okay. But we'll be able to see when it puffs up. We'll still be able to see where those hot dogs are to tell what is our serving size. Now, I did my grocery shopping today, so I got our cheese I was talking about using. The Fiesta blend, reduced fat from Walmart. And it says use a cup. Might could get by with 1/2 cup. I don't even know if that would shave any points off, but I'm just telling y'all, it is not always going to be about making something the very lowest that you can make it. Sometimes you won't. My counter's clean, so. Sometimes you want a little something extra, like a little extra cheese. I don't know if that half a cup of cheese is, I think it was 9 points for the whole cup. So I don't know if knocking that down by half would have taken a point off of a serving. But that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you want something a little extra. So we're going to pop this in the oven at 400 for about 20 to 25 minutes until this cornbread is done. Okay, if y'all can see this, you see how beautiful golden brown this is? I pulled it out and I was like, oh my gosh, that looks so pretty. So we know there's no hot dogs in the middle. I think we got an actual cornbread. I think the cornbread worked. Let's see. Did we put the hot dogs about right there? Now you see the size of this serving for, oh, I forgot to look. I think it did take it up to 8 points when I doubled the topping. I'll definitely have it on the screen and in the description. Look at the size of this serving though. If I can get it out. Okay, it did make cornbread. You know what? It might have not needed the, I might have just made a boo-boo. Hold on, let me show you. Because I ain't trying to lie about nothing. You see how thick, I don't know if you can see from the angle, how thick that cornbread puffed up? For the layer of that chili in there, I did not think it was going to puff up that big. So, I'm going to taste it. I'm going to see if it's too dry. If there's too much cornbread, I will let you know. Either keep it my way or keep it back to the 1 cup that it is supposed to be. Okay, so I tried it and it's good and I'll make it again. But I will make some changes. There was too much cornbread. I shouldn't have doubled it, but it did not sound like enough to me. So I don't know if it's the extra baking powder, which I don't think it would have made it rise up that much. So that was way too much bread on there. So I would cut back and go back to the 1 cup original. Also, I would add a spoonful of sugar. Now, having said that, I know there is a beautiful southern lady out there somewhere clutching her pearls and gasping for air that I said, add sugar to the cornbread. I like sweet cornbread. I said it. I like the Jiffy mix in the box. I like it a lot. So, for my taste, I would add that spoonful of sugar. It doesn't add anything to the points. Then the other thing is, I would just leave the hot dogs off completely. They do not add anything to that recipe. Nothing at all. Nothing. They don't taste anything like a corn dog, and you don't need them. So, I'd save the money and the points. If you cut the cornbread back and leave off the hot dogs, even adding a spoonful of sugar, then it brings it down to 5 points for that big piece that you saw. Granted, it'll be half the cornbread, but still it's a big piece. I couldn't even eat it all. I couldn't eat all my cornbread. It was just too much. So I will make it again. And I was thinking about, what I would change. I'm like, well, that makes it really just chili with cornbread on it. And probably everybody in the world knows how to make that already, but I never made it before, so I got my recipe now. It's really easy. So that's what I would do. But I wanted to let you know. I didn't want to just leave you hanging at the end and not knowing what. So hope you enjoyed it. Bye.